emergency first responders, they don't really get a respite until they're broken. The idea of, I'm going to go to crime scenes or see people that have been severely injured or see blood or see death or see destruction and think that that's not going to affect me is like telling someone, go walk through that river there and tell me if you got wet on the other side. You're going to get wet. It's just that inevitable. And we're not aware of when the rubber bands start to snap inside of each individual. My name is David Muller, and I've served for 33 and a half years as an officer. I worked in frontline, I worked in traffic, I was on the tactics and rescue unit. Some people know the term SWAT. I worked as a detective as well, and then I finished my career in property and evidence. As a child, I always said I wanted to help the world, and I didn't know what that meant as 4 or 5 years old. Just that's what I wanted to do. And I went to kindergarten, and we lived beside a convenience store, and my mom wanted to send him over there to get some candies because he was upset missing his brother. And so he went and he decided to find me at school. Well, he got lost. I came home from school, and then I found out later the police found him and brought him home, and I said, oh, that's how you help people. And that was the first anchoring in of where I said, okay, that's the direction I got to go. It's a really different experience putting on a uniform. There's an expectation of you to be able to handle whatever's going to come along. That is something you really have to adjust to. You find out that you're given a limited amount of time to interact with people, and it's usually under a difficult circumstance. There's a lot of stress involved. So you can have positive impacts in short bursts, but it's not long term. So I've always equated policing a lot of the time as like driving down the road with a box of Band-Aids. You throw them out, you hope one sticks, and trying to do the right thing, as opposed to, oh, come in here and sit down, let's take your Band-Aid off and see how you got that wound, and let's see if we can help you with that. In terms of understanding how the person is that shows up, they don't know that maybe that officer has come from a fatality and has just witnessed people that have lost their lives. And now you're coming to talk about how their neighbor is banging their pots too loudly. But you're expected to perform in a way that is supportive and nurturing. And the public have no idea of what you're experiencing in that moment. Or when you see things that just don't make sense, where there's travesty that occurs, let's say with children who are abused, or family members who are abused in some horrific way, and if there's a tragic outcome, in some cases there is, then you have to be able to talk to the family members and try and hold space and provide comfort and support for them while they're having the worst day of their life. We tend to disassociate from ourselves. Let's forget about that someone's died here, and I've had to look at that situation, and I've not processed how that feels, because as soon as I've got all of this put together, I'm called away to the next thing, and that still sits there lingering. But sometimes it's like you say, okay, I gotta take my uniform off, it's disgusting, and put another one on, and now I'm okay, but I haven't cleansed my inside. Externally, I've maybe had a shower and put a uniform on, but my inside's still raw. And that becomes a problem, because at some point we run out of spaces of where we can stuff little boxes of things. Overall, I think I was pretty balanced for the most part. I had a lot of outlets that were really good and strong, and then all of my tools that I thought I had that to use were taken away. When the person crossed the road and I could see the driver, and then I don't see the driver, and I'm going, what's happening? And then the car's in front of me. I realized I couldn't even react. It was just so sudden. I mean, I hit the brake pedal hard. Because I know speeds and I've been to fatalities before, my last conscious thought is, I'm going to be dead. That's it. To give you an idea in impact, later on I found out that the engine had came through the firewall, and I had buried the brake pedal in the engine with my leg, and with enough force that I actually broke my seat off the bolts. My brain had been moved through the base of my skull. They described it as an internal decapitation. All the ligaments were torn in my neck and head. I had some bleeding in the brain. I had other, broken arm, ribs. My foot was crushed. So when I came to and realized that I was still alive, it was like, oh, now what? Facing a lot of surgeries, a lot of difficult situations. I had a significant amount of injuries. So there was a lot of limitations. No going to the gym, no working out, no going for a run, spending time in nature. That was out because I was on crutches for better part of 2 years. In policing, we didn't do a good job. We did a good job of training you to how to go to deal with things. We didn't do a good job of how to deal with things when you were away from those crises, those difficult moments, those difficult calls. And that's where I really had the introspection to know what happens on a deeper level in policing. I had no escape from pain. It was constant, every moment of every day. I didn't want to take all the kinds of drugs because I know the result of that too. I dealt with people in the street who had that journey and ended up never coming back in a good place. I was declared totally disabled with catastrophic injuries. Never be able to work again. It's like your whole identity is suddenly stripped away from you. You identify as being physically fit, active, being able to do all these things, and now you're faced with personal injury, psychological injury, trauma, PTSD, acute sleep disorders, severe anxiety, as well as having surgeries, and not understanding the fullness of what's happened to you and going, well, who am I? How do I return to finding out how do I function in this state? Emotionally, and mentally, I just didn't know how I could find my way back. It's extremely difficult as to where the line crosses, where you either can stay and become whole again, or you can't. When you're in that deep, dark place, the exit door to say, I can just go through that door and be done with life, I don't have to do this painful journey anymore, is very loud and strong and very calling. The door in the path to recovery and healing, you can't see where that is. The forest is long, and there's a lot of trees, and it looks kind of scary. But I remember, and I think this was a catalyst for me. I'd lost one of my best friends to suicide, and I just said, I can't do this to my family or anyone else. So I kept fighting. There was days when I couldn't get out of bed. That's when I said, okay, I'm kind of surrendered. I need to ask for help. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to navigate this storm. I don't know how. I feel like I'm crashing all the time, and I need help. I need guidance. And by asking and beginning to pray, I got guidance. Some people might call them coincidences. In policing, we call them clues. And so I started to follow the clues. I would have random people coming up to me and saying things like, I think I'm guided to let you know you should go learn Qigong. I didn't even know what that meant. So I started to look into that and investigate that. And that's what led me to taking a trip to China to go study with a grandmaster. He couldn't speak a lot of English, but one of the first things he said, which was very profound, he didn't have an MRI or a CAT scan or, any X-ray or any blood work or anything. He just looked at me and said, "Oh, Dave, your body's dying. Your spirit is out of your body and your body's dying. We need to bring your spirit back in and heal your body or you're going to die." And that was the first time where, I started crying, and it was a big reality check where I just actually felt, finally, someone's told me the truth of what I'm experiencing, but didn't know how to put into words. And it resonated on a very deep level. It's like, okay, there's some magic here that's happening, and I got to find out a lot more. So that led me on a huge journey around the world and studying in different places to start to learn how to heal myself on a deeper level. In this journey, I tell people I spent every day with dirt under my fingernails from where I was digging from to try and climb back out. If I could go back and stand in front of myself at 24 years of age, putting on the uniform to say, "Oh, by the way, you're going to learn meditation, and you're going to learn Qigong, and you're going to learn healing arts, and you're going to go through a lot of travesty," I would have first laughed and said, "Yeah, right, sure." Not happening. This sounds like somebody else's story, not your story. Most of us in life have no idea, from things that we've experienced as children, as adults, the impact it has on our whole nervous system, on our psyche, and the dysregulation it causes within our being. And that was a big aha moment for me. And I went, oh my gosh, I wish I could bottle this up and take it to all my colleagues and say, here, you need to drink this elixir because it's going to get you back to who you were before you put the uniform on. I would never have believed that I would get to this place. As difficult as the journey was, and I don't recommend having a near-death experience to have this aha moment, conversations are much better. I don't think I could have done as much personal growth I don't know if I could have ever done that in my whole life to what I've done in the forced time out that I was given. I can tell you that today I take no medication, and I was able to return to full-time work, and I was able to finish my career. Now that was my goal, is to try and say, here, please take some of these tools, whatever resonates, so that you have a better journey than many of my colleagues and I had. I don't know where this is going to lead me next. It's incredible, and life has become very beautiful. So can't offer from a cup that's broken or empty. There's nothing to offer. When you fill your own cup up with the fullness of positive energy, wellness, love, kindness, then you're offering from a good space, and people will resonate with that. And so look at how do you keep your garden? How do you keep your internal landscape? Make it beautiful for yourself so that you can have a good life that way. That's what I hope to pass on to others as well.